Our Bible text is John 20, the verses 17 to 18. Jesus said to her, "Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things to her. So it's John's account of the resurrection. And it's quite interestingly, most of John, or much of John 20, has the specific focus on the role of Mary Magdalene. And all the gospel accounts agree that woman was somehow involved in witnessing the resurrection of Jesus, or being told about the resurrection of Jesus. And Matthew and John specifically says that Jesus appeared first to women disciples. And among them, Mary Magdalene is prominent because she must have been quite an extraordinary disciple. She's specifically highlighted as the first disciple to witness the resurrection of Jesus. But in the background, there's also these other women that were with her. If you read the various gospel accounts, there were various women that were involved, that were there when Jesus was crucified, who observed how he was laid into the tomb, then also witnesses in some way to the resurrection. Of course, there's Mary Magdalene, the prominent disciple, because she's always listed first. And then there's also other disciples, women disciples, like Joanna is mentioned, Salome is mentioned. Also Mary, or she's also called the other Mary. She's referred to as the mother of James and Joseph in various accounts. She was probably an aunt of Jesus. And one gospel also lists other women that were with him. So these women were there at the crucifixion, burial, and the resurrection of Jesus. They were involved in some way. Of course, Mary Magdalene, she's prominent, especially for the Gospel of John. These women with Mary Magdalene, they only really mentioned for the most part around the time of Jesus' crucifixion onwards. It's only the Gospel of Luke that gives us some biographical information about Mary Magdalene. If we go to Luke chapter 8, it speaks of Jesus going through many places and teaching, and that his disciples were with him. And then Luke goes on to explain also that some woman disciples were with him. If we go to chapter 8, verses 2, and certain women, right, these were also with Jesus, who had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities. Who are these women? Mary called Magdalene, out of whom had come 7 demons, and Joanna, the wife of Chuza, Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others who provided for him from their substance. So yeah, specifically in chapter 8, Mary Magdalene is identified as a person from whom Jesus had expelled 7 demons. Because sometimes Mary Magdalene in Christian tradition was identified as a prostitute, but there's no basis for that. Jesus had exorcised demons from her. So this is the little biographical information we have of Mary Magdalene. And of course, her name Mary Magdalene means she came from a little fishing village called Magdala, and that was situated on the northwestern shore of the Sea of Galilee. And again, what a prominent disciple, what an extraordinary disciple she must have been to receive such prominence in the gospel accounts. She's always listed first, and she's basically one of the first to witness the resurrection, or to encounter the resurrected Jesus, as we also see in John 20 as we move along. So John 20 is all about the resurrection of Jesus. And there's specifically 3 resurrection accounts. It's where Jesus appears to the woman, and then also to the male disciples where they're hidden in the room, and then another one where old doubting Thomas was also present. But John 20 begins by recounting the empty tomb. And yeah, interestingly, John's account has some parallels with what Luke also tells us. about the woman coming to the tomb and encountering the empty tomb. If we go to Luke 24, the verses 9 to 12, we can read there, "Then they returned from the tomb," that's the woman, "and told all these things to the 11 and to all the rest." Because according to Luke, also, yeah, they encountered angels, and the angels told them that Jesus has risen from the dead. So now they go to the disciples and tell them. Now, who were these women? It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and the other woman with him who told these things to the apostles. Now, of course, we also read something here that John's gospel doesn't tell us. If we read in verse 11, "And their words seemed to them like idle tales, and they did not believe them." But it also goes on to say that Peter got up and went to the tomb. If we go to verse 12, "But Peter arose and ran to the tomb, and stooping down, he saw the linen cloths lying by themselves, and he departed, marveling to himself at what had happened." Because also in John's gospel, the women go and tell the disciples about the empty tomb, and then Peter and the beloved disciple, they run to the tomb. And of course, the evangelist tells us the beloved disciples arrived there first, and Peter stooped down, looked into the tomb. They saw the burial cloths there, and then the beloved disciple also looked in and he believed. He was the first one to believe, not the first one to see, the first one to believe in the resurrection of Jesus. Because this beloved disciple is also behind the Gospel of John. It's based on his testimony and his preaching of Jesus. So that's where it begins, John 20. Is this account of where the woman encounter the empty tomb and they go tell the male disciples. So after Peter and the beloved disciple were there, Mary Magdalene, and we can also presuppose other women were still there by the tomb. And now, of course, she's anxious because what have they done with Jesus? Where's the body? Because at this time, if you didn't have a burial, it was very dishonorable not to be buried. It was really a shameful thing for a person not to be buried. That's one way to punish him, even in death, that there's no burial. So she's worried about it because for her, she wants to bury Jesus. I mean, she was her teacher. He needs to be treated honorably, even in the face of this disaster, this calamity of Jesus being crucified that no one really expected, although Jesus foretold it. But even in death, in the shameful death of crucifixion, Mary Magdalene, she's worried now that Jesus gets a proper burial, like any honorable human being deserves to get. So we can go to our account and we can read, "But Mary stood outside by the tomb weeping, and as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the tomb." It also mentions that she saw two angels there inside the tomb. And it's one sat at the head and the other at the feet, where, of course, where Jesus, the body of Jesus had been laid. Then they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "Because they have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." So, again, where's the body of Jesus? Now we carry on where now she encounters the risen Jesus. We can also assume with other women. They're not explicitly mentioned here, but it's presupposed in the narrative because earlier on it says, "We did not see Jesus." If we go to verse 2, where it says there, "And we do not know where they have laid him." So the narrative presupposes that Mary Magdalene was not alone, but other women were with her. But here she is now, after her encounter with the angels, now she turns around and she sees a man who she thinks is the gardener. If we go to verse 14. She turned around and saw Jesus standing there and did not know that it was Jesus. Of course, Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" Now she also asks, or she speaks to Jesus, supposing him in the garden, and says, "Where have they taken the body of my Lord?" Because he's gone. Then Jesus said to her, if you go to verse 16, "Mary." She turned and said to him, Rabboni, which is to say teacher. Now Mary Magdalene recognizes who Jesus is. When he said to her, Mary, he called her by her name. And now we can read our Bible text. Jesus said to her, do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. Now we have more or less a parallel thing that's reported in the Gospel of Matthew. Because Matthew also has where Jesus appears first to women disciples. If we go to Matthew 28, the verses 9 to 10, we read, and as they went to tell his disciples, that's now where the woman must report on their encounter with the angels. Matthew says, behold, Jesus met them, saying, rejoice. So they came and held him by the feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, do not be afraid, go and tell my brethren or my brothers to go to Galilee, and there they will see me. So it says here in Matthew that they held him by the feet and worshipped him. So they were down by Jesus' feet. And now let's go back to our current Bible text. It says, Jesus said to her, do not cling to me. Supposedly that she was holding on to Jesus' feet. Why? For I have not yet ascended to my Father. Something's different here. Somehow the resurrection of Jesus makes the relationship different. Our Bible text goes on, but go to my brethren or my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. So normally the disciples of Jesus, they are called by different names. Of course, disciples, which based on the Greek word, it can mean follower, or also apprentice, learner. There's also the term where Jesus refers to his disciples as his friends. Jesus also refers to his disciples as little children. But Jesus also refers to his disciples as brothers, family members in other contexts. If you go to Mark 3, verses 33 to 35, Jesus is told there, your mother and your brothers and sisters are looking for you. Then Jesus responded by saying, who is my mother, my brother, my sister? Those who do the will of my Father. So already there, Jesus recognizes his followers also as his brother and sister, etc., even mother. Also in Matthew 28, verse 10, like we just read previously, Jesus also instructs the women disciples, go tell my brethren, my brothers. So there's also a new kind of relationship between Jesus and his followers, right? Being brothers and sisters in a way. So not merely just followers, they are friends and now brothers and sisters. That kind of relationship that Jesus has with his followers, especially after the resurrection. So it says there, go to my brethren and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father. So in other words, that's another expression of this filial relationship. God the Father is the Father of Jesus and of us, believers in Jesus. And to my God and your God. Our Bible text carries on. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things to her. So here, Mary Magdalene with the other woman, as some early church fathers have also described them, they were apostles to the apostles. They, especially if you go read the writings of Hippolytus and Jerome, early church fathers, because they were the first to witness Jesus' resurrection and also to announce it. So yeah, the focus especially on Mary Magdalene, the one according to Luke whom Jesus exorcised 7 demons and who helped give support, material support to live and eat, both Jesus and his disciples. Yeah, Mary Magdalene is prominent, and what a woman she must have been to receive all this attention. But she, with the other woman, are the first to witness the resurrected Jesus and to proclaim the resurrection of Jesus to others.